Welcome to Tenacious Entrepreneurs, where perseverance meets purpose and every setback is just another step forward. Join us as we dive into the journeys of entrepreneurs who faced failures, embraced change, and emerged stronger than ever. Whether you're dreaming big or already on your way, this podcast is here to remind you that the end is only the beginning. Stay inspired, stay tenacious, and let's conquer the entrepreneurial world together.
Welcome to the Tenacious Entrepreneur Podcast. I am your guest host, Tracy Kelly, filling in for Joey DuPont, who is going to be our interviewee today. Well, I'll just say on the backs of that too, Joey, that, Pastor Larry used to also say that now we are the most connected generation that ever lived because we got screens in front of our face connecting us all over the world instantly. But we're also the most disconnected generation that ever lived personally.
Right.
And, that to me, what you're saying doesn't just hold true in personal relationships, but in business relationships as well, because people want to get, there's so many people are transactional. They want to text an order and get it right now. And they don't care who does it or delivers it as long as it's what they want. I get it. But in like the service businesses and things like that, one of the things that we were trained on is you have to fix the customer first, because some of your best cheerleaders in business are people that have been messed over by other businesses, other service businesses, which has service business has a bad name in the world, that, you can't find good people to do good work, blah, blah, blah. But, we were trained to go in and actually talk to the customer and find out, what's their problem, what happened before, how can we get them to trust us to actually do the job better and over deliver, under promise and over what we do. And generally those were the customers that got out on the rooftops and shouted our praises. So I think that interaction and that empathy and that getting to know people that are your customers is never going to go away and never going to be replaced by AI.
Right. Right. If you can just engage. But the problem is that we get so lazy with, what I'm saying? It's super easy for me to use. For instance, I can take HeyGen and I can generate an avatar of myself that actually looks, sounds, has my mannerisms, does everything. And it would be super easy for me to just delegate, hey, instead of me going to that meeting, I'm going to go ahead and get you to, sit in it for me with my avatar and respond to people and tell people what I'm thinking. You see what I'm saying? Like, it'd be so easy for me to disconnect. And so that's the concern. It's like, hey, you can't just disconnect. You have to stay connected, even though you're using AI. So I'm looking at AI right now for that and for the television side of things. But something that's interesting is AI is coming out and giving doctors even tools. The Lady of the Lake where I was at, they're developing an AI tool right now where the doctor goes in with a camera on their chest, like a GoPro, and it listens to the to what's going on, and records everything, and then it's able to transcribe it to his notes, so he doesn't have to transcribe it anymore. And then from there, it can give them the ability to be able to record themselves with just actual prompts. In other words, they video themselves to the point where now they have a model, and then they're able to go in to the prompts and say the number one reason why doctors end up having to get malpractice is because they were told one thing or told another thing, and so they're not able to do it. They were said, you said this, but they didn't really say that. But with AI, they're going to be able to prove that, hey, I didn't say that, or I did say that. But whenever a person leaves a hospital, most people don't realize it, but after you leave the hospital, you've got 30 days that the hospital is responsible for whatever thing that brought you there. If you come back, they have to pay for it. and people that leave with a heart attack have an 80% return rate if they don't take a certain medication.
Hmm.
But they don't listen to the doctors whenever they're checking out at the end of the thing, and the social workers telling them, "Hey, you need to use this, and you need to go get this medication." There's a list of 20,000 things that they're telling them they need to do. They just forget about the medication, and so this AI is going to allow them to be able to go back and send a text to the customer 24 hours after they leave and say, "Hey, Tracy, listen, I know you went to the hospital, and we went through all this stuff together, but there's an 80% chance that you're going to be coming back to see me in the next 30 days if you don't take this medication.
Hmm.
Would you like me to give you a prompt to where the nearest pharmacies are, or do you have one?" And if you say yes, I want a prompt, it's able to send them a prompt to the nearest pharmacies, and you just tell them which one you want to send it to. So that is where AI is headed. Have you seen the new Gronk 4 AI that's coming out from Tesla?
No, no, I have not.
Okay. So I was watching an interview with with Elon Musk, and he said that it's actually scary to him. Which, if Elon says it's scary, I mean, it's going to be real scary for all of us. But he said that Gronk is something that they're Gronk 4. He's creating it as an open AI, but with a set of morals that he said it was not going to be able to be compromised. He said the set of morals is supposed to be put into law, saying that you shall not harm a human, you can't do something to go against humans. He said the current AI models that are out there don't have that.
Right.
They actually have been stripped of that. And whenever they ask, I was reading a actual book, uh, about Elon Musk's life story book is a great book. But he was talking to the inventors of AI from I don't want to say the names, but anyway, he was talking to the inventor of AI, and he was asking them if they were going to put in these particular matrix that would, the laws that would stop AI from just taking over the world, from iRobot or trans whatever movie you've seen that's they taken over the world. And the guy actually said, no, we're not putting that in there because we want, if they're a superior species, then they need to take over the world. And he was like, are you kidding me? He pulled all of his investments out of that. It was Microsoft. He pulled all his investments out of Microsoft whenever that happened. And he started working on creating this Grant 4. Uh, and that particular model does have the, I'll protect mankind and I won't allow anything to happen to it. He said it's so advanced right now. This was like 3 days ago. He said it's so advanced right now that if it was to take an SAT, it would not miss one question on the SAT. If it was to take I think called a geo, whatever, it's graduation, like when you have a graduate degree, you have to take this test in college. He said if it was to take that test, it would only miss. He said it's only missed two questions that it didn't get right. So that would be like a PhD level. And he said basically what it is now is it's like having a entire room full of PhD graduates that you can go to and talk to, and it can problem solve, and it's starting to write code, and it's starting to create websites and create programs that will solve world problems. He said he feels like the things like cancer are going to be solved through AI because there's no human element involved. There's no greed. There's no, I don't want to do this because I can't get it patented. AI is just going to do it because it's better for humanity.
Well, like you said, though, I think the key to it is going to be in the programming and the prompting, right? Because
Right, right,
certain companies are not creating their programming to protect mankind, and people are just prompting for the AI answer. It technically, uh, greed and hostility and all these things could come through. Um,
right.
it has an ulterior motive to shut down, your computer or whatever. And look, AI is not all powerful. I asked my AI one time, I said, so can you hear the room that I'm in? And the AI is like, no, I can only hear through, your microphone or I said, well, I don't have a microphone. I said, just out of curiosity, I said, so, every computer has a speaker on the motherboard. So if you were to reverse the polarity on the speaker, could you actually hear what's going on now in my room? And the AI's like, That's an interesting hypothesis, but it's not something that my programming allows me to do.
Not yet. That's what I'm saying is that it's coming.
Right.
Uh, just get ready for it. But I think that's the exploring AI. I think people that are putting their head in the sand and saying it's the devil or I'm not going to it's going to be the Antichrist or whatever. Like I feel like that it's just an ignorant stance. Like you need to take the stance that hey, this is a tool and it's a tool that can be used for good. I created a AI avatar that looked like Jesus on my HeyGen, and I just took the scripture and said, create a script for me with the red words of this chapter with Jesus speaking in first person. And I mean, it does speak in first person whenever he's speaking the red words, but and I said, I need you to extrapolate it a little bit. So when he says, I am the vine, you are the branches, he goes on and explains it. So what I'm saying, guys, is that I'm not saying that you need to worship, vines. I'm saying that, you know, I'm saying that I am the fruit is coming out of me. It's I am the vine and you're branches. You're going to produce fruit, but the fruit's not coming from you, it's coming from me. And so to have Jesus actually, I mean, it wasn't actually Jesus, but it was just a person that looked like Jesus. But just to have a person that looked like Jesus and be able to give it prompts now and have it create this conversation, I can use that for soul winning. To put on the web and have it to where I can talk to people and give like life lessons. I just think we're in a generation right now, man. It's like so amazing that we're going to see so many things that are going to blow people's minds in the future. That being said, there's other things that are scary. I just saw the first article came out where a person was scammed because they said that their loved one called
Oh, that.
and had. Did you see that? They called them on the phone, and it sounded just like them. And they said, "Mom, I'm in prison. I'm in you know you know alternate whatever county jail, and I can't get out unless you send me $5,000. I have to pay the bond, and it has to come directly to my my bank account. It can't come to anything else. And it says, here's my bank account information. Can you send it to me?" And she went ahead and sent it
Yep.
because she said it was my daughter. I mean, what was I going to do? Like I'm gonna send my daughter the money. And so for me, what I thought when I got through with that was I wrote a Facebook post saying, look, it's time for you to get a safe word.
Yep.
You need to have something that if your loved one calls you and says, you know, they're coming to get me, mom. I'm locked in a basement. I need help. Whatever it is, give me your bank account number so I can send you the money or whatever it is they're saying. You need to have a safe word where you can say, "Hey, what's our safe word?"
Yeah, it's becoming a time when, you know, I remember the guy that created Twitter was talking about how there, when it comes to identification, um, like not everybody needs all of your details. They just need to know specifically, like when they want your license, say you wanted to, which I wouldn't, but say you wanted to buy a bottle of wine or something,
Mm-hmm.
when they ask for your license, all they really need to know is it a legit identification that tells me that you're 21 years of age or over. They don't need to know your name. They don't need to know your address. They just need to know if you're 21 or over, right? And so I think we're coming to a time where identity, um, and this can be a scary thought, but follow me through. Identity, let's say you go to a website and you fill out all these different forms to get this app or this into this website or whatever. Certain times they only need to know certain things. What's your email address? What's your name? What's your cell phone number? Whatever. They don't need to know your address or whatever. So I think that all of the details of your identity can be given to certain things, but only certain aspects of that, only certain facets of it. And I think we're coming to a time where when people need to identify even their loved ones, whether it's done through quantum or there's a lot of different ways probably that it could be done. But in the future, I think there's going to be a way that we're going to be able to identify ourselves, even if AI is trying to mimic us, that we can know, like a safe word is real easy, right? But, maybe AI figures out our safe word at some point, right? Maybe we need a
Right.
robust way to identify ourselves to make sure that we're actually talking to somebody or communicating with somebody. All right. Thank
All
you.
right. All right. Thank you so much.
That's it for this episode of the Tenacious Entrepreneur. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this journey. Are you an entrepreneur with a tenacious story? We want to hear from you. Visit our website, tenaciousentrepreneur.com, and click on the Tell My Story link. If you got something valuable from today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur. Keep pushing forward, and remember, the end is only the beginning. A new episode drops every Wednesday at 7:14 a.m. Until then, remember to stay humble, stay focused, and be tenacious.